Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. I pay homage to the Triple Gem. I pay homage to most respected bhanteji. I pay homage to most respected Guru Bhanteji. I pay homage to all Bhikkhu Sangha and metta to dear Samaneras, Anagarikas and Upasakas and Upasikas. Thank you Bhanteji giving me this opportunity to share Dhamma knowledge with all of you. Last Sunday, we have celebrated Dhammapada festival on the occasion of our most respected Bhanteji. So today, I would like to give discourse from Dhammapada from Pandita Wagga. The Gatha is 80. This verse was spoken by the Buddha concerning to Samanera Pandita. So this Gatha is like that. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Udakang hinayanti nettika. Usukara namayanti te janang. Darung namayanti tachaka. Attanang damayanti pandita. It means irrigator regulate the water in the field. Fletcher straighten the arrow. Carpenter shape the wood. The wise one control themselves. Why the Buddha said this Gatha? Because the Pandita Samanera, he was so young. He was just only when 7 years old, he became a novice. Just only small, you see, only 7 years. And on his 8th day, one day he saw a digger of the earth leading water to the field. The arrow maker was straightening the arrow, and the carpenter shaping the wood. He saw that, and after that, he contemplated these things and meditated on this. By contemplating and meditating on this, he became an enlightened. He became an arahant. So see, can you imagine, by seeing just only digging of the earth, leading the water, and just arrow maker straightening the arrow and the carpenter shaping the wood. By seeing this, can anyone get enlightenment? But that small novice, just only 7 years old, he became enlightenment, but just by seeing and contemplating this. So the Buddha said, what kind of actions, what kind of punya kamma he has performed in his past lives, which leads to attain enlightenment, like just only 7 years old. So the Buddha said, before the Gautama's dispensation, during the Kassapa Buddha's dispensation, one day Kassapa Buddha, he visited the city called Varanasi. And when the citizens, they know that the Buddha is coming accompanied by 20,000 arahats, they get together and receive the Buddha. And one day, after having the alms meal, the Buddha delivered a discourse. He said the 4 things, the 4 types of givers. The first one, the Buddha said, one who only gives himself, but he doesn't encourages other to give the dana. He only gives himself, but he doesn't encourages other to give. Because of that, in his future existence, he will be blessed by having wealth. He will be wealthy, he will be rich, but because he never encourages others to go to do Kusala Kamma, so in his future existence, he will not have any followers. He will not have any friends. This is the first types of giver and its result. Then the Buddha said, the second types of giver, he doesn't give himself, but he encourages others to give. Like he will never give anything from his side, but he will encourage others to give. Oh, you will give this one and you will have the punya. So he will encourage others, but never he will give. So this kind of person in his future existence, he will not have any kind of wealth. He will be poor, but he will be blessing by having followers. He will have friends, but he will not have the wealth. So this is second types of giver and its result. Then the third types of giver, the Buddha said, a person, he never gives himself and he also never encourages others to give. Neither he gives himself nor encourages others. So this kind of givers in his future existence, when he reborn, he will be poor because he never did any kind of kusala action. So he will be poor, and also he will not have any kind of followers, friends. Okay, this is the third kind of givers and its result. Then the four types of giver. The Buddha said, here is a person who himself gives what he has, and also he encourages others to do kusala kamma. So this type of person in his future existence, he will be blessing by having extreme wealth, and also surrounding him, he will have the followers, he will have the friends which will always follow him, help him, guide him. So this is the four types of giver and its result. So upasakas and upasikas, what types of giver you want to be? First one, second one, third one, the fourth one. What type of giver you want to be? Of course, you should try to be the fourth one. Four types of giver. Then, so when the Buddha said these four types of giver in his discourse, among the listeners, there was a wise man, upasaka, wise upasaka. So when he heard the discourse and these four types of givers, he told himself, what types of giver I should be for my future existence. So he said, I should be the fourth one. Of course, I should have the wealth as well as I should have the followers. So, thinking himself, he went towards the Buddha and felt at his feet. And then after paying respect, he requested to the Buddha, "Oh, most venerable sir, please receive tomorrow's invitation for alms round." Then the Buddha asked him, "How many monks do you want to be brought along with me?" Then the Upasaka asked to the Buddha, "Most venerable sir, how many monks do you have with you?" Then the Buddha said, 20,000 monks. You see, at the time, along with the Buddha, there were 20,000 monks, and they were all arahat, they were all enlightened monks. Then the Upasaka said, may all your monks and most venerable Buddha, please everyone come for tomorrow's alms meal. Then the Buddha, by remaining silent, he accepted his invitation. After that Upasaka, he went to organize for tomorrow's alms meal, and he was announcing in the village that, my dear Upasakas and Upasikas, men and women, I have privilege of invitation, like I have invited the Lord Buddha for tomorrow's alms meal. So please, everyone, participate in this good action. As much as like you are able to offer the monks, as your ability, you can choose any monk to offer the alms meal. So some Upasakas and Upasikas, they said, I will offer 10 monks alms meal tomorrow. And some said, I will offer 20. Some said, I will offer 100. Then the Buddha, the Upasaka, after this, he was like going houses by houses, asking who will offer more. Then on the way, he met a Upasaka. In that Varanasi city, there lived a pauper. He was extremely poor, so the people called him Maha Bodhi. Maha Bodhi means great pauper, because he was extremely poor, so people called him Maha Bodhi. Then when he saw the Maha Bodhi, he asked the Maha Bodhi, my dear friend, tomorrow I'm going to offer alms meal to Buddha and to his disciple. So would you like to participate in this Kusala action? Do you want to offer meal to any monk? Then that Upasaka said, sir, you know my situation. I am a poor. I have nothing. I beg for my day-to-day basis. By begging, I live. So how can I offer food to a monk? Monk need rich men to offer them. But I am a poor, so how can I afford to offer a monk? But that Upasaka, because he wants to be giver, the 4 type of giver, right? So he wants to give himself and also encourages others. So he said to Upasaka, that to Maha Bodhi, he said, Upasaka, you know, in this city, there are lots of rich people who are living in a luxury life, who are living, eating, sleeping in a luxury. But you see yourself, you are a very poor man. Why you are facing this problem? Because in your past, you have never offered anything to a monk, to anyone. You have never did any kind of Kusala action. Because of that, you are facing this now. So do Kusala Kamma for your future existence. Then after hearing this, the Upasaka, he was so moved. So he said, okay, sir, I will do what you are telling, it is true, because I have never did any kind of Kusala action. Because of that, now I am facing this situation. So what you are telling is true. Then that organizer, the Upasaka, he said, now you are still young, you have strength, so you can do some physical activities to do to earn the merits. So why not you take a monk and you offer him alms meal? Then that Maha Bodhi, he said, okay, sir, you write my name and please allot me a monk for tomorrow's alms meal. Then that Upasaka, he also thought it is not important just only writing for one monk, so he didn't write in the list. And then that Mahadugata, after hearing like he will offer a monk food to a monk, he was so overwhelmed. So he went to his house and he told his wife that I have like undertaken one thing, that tomorrow I will going to offer a monk's alms meal in my house. Then after hearing this, his wife, she was also very happy and said, yeah, because we never have any done any kind of good action in our life, in our previous life, so we are now poor, so we should do the meritorious action. Then that Upasaka and Upasika, after that, they went out searching for work because they were very poor. So they want money and something to offer the monk. Because of that, they went searching for works. And there were a rich man. So he was also searching for someone to cut the wood for tomorrow's cooking, for tomorrow's alms meal cooking. And then when he saw the Mahadugata, he pointed him as a worker. Then he gave him a work to cut the wood. Then the Mahadugata, he took the axe and he started to slip the wood. Because he was so happy and enthusiasm, so he started to cut the wood so straightly, like cutting one after one, so fast. And when that rich man, when he saw, he was shocked. Like, today what happened to this Upasaka, that Mahadugata? Today he is cutting the wood so fast, but earlier also I have appointed him as a worker, but earlier he never did that. So what happened today? So he asked, and then he asked to Mahadugata. Then Mahadugata said, sir, now I am working to earn some money for tomorrow's alms meal. I want to give alms meal to a monk. So I am working now. So because of that, I'm so happy. With this happy, I'm working. So after hearing this, that rich man, he also was very happy after hearing that. As well, his wife also, that Mahadugata's wife, she also got a work. And while she was doing the work, she was dancing and singing and working her work. So when that rich man's wife, she saw the Mahadugata's wife dancing, singing and working, so she also asked her, why you are working and also you're singing, dancing? Then she also said that tomorrow we are going to offer alms meal to a monk. So we are so happy, and because of that, I'm dancing and singing. So she was also, after hearing that, she was also happy. Then when they completed their work, the rich man, they gave him a rice, and also they gave him money. And also they gave him some extra rice and money. Then when they got rice, money, after that they bought some oil, ghee, vegetable and vessel to cook. And then that night, they prepared everything to cook tomorrow's morning. And then that night, they so hardly slept because they were so happy to offer meals tomorrow morning, right? Maybe you also have experienced this when you invite any monk, right, in your house. Then do you feel happy and can you sleep in the night? No, right? Because of happy when you going to offer a monk tomorrow. So like that also, they were so happy, so they hardly slept in the night. Then in the morning, early in the morning, so then Upasaka, then Mahadugata, he went to arrange something from outside to collect some green leaves. Then in the morning, in that very morning, the Lord Buddha, Kassapa Lord Buddha, he was surveying the world. Then he saw that Mahadugata in his family. And he saw that how he's hardworking to give alms meal to a monk. Then he search which monk he will get. Then he saw he will get nobody. And then he searched. Then if there is no monk, then whom he will feed today's alms meal. Then he saw none other than the Buddha himself. Okay, so the Buddha, he was know everything what is going to happen today. So the Buddha, he get ready and he was waiting in his kuti for the Mahadugata. Then the Mahadugata, he arranged everything. Then he went to collect green leaves, and he went to a pond to collect green leaves. There he met a fisherman. So when he was collecting the green leaves, at the time also he was singing and collecting. And when that fisherman, he also saw that Mahadugata singing and collecting the leaves. So he also asked to him, what happened, Mahadugata? Why you are singing and collecting the leaves? Then he told that he is going to offer alms meal to a monk. So because of this, he is so ecstatic, and so is he singing. Then that fisherman also, he also offered him some fish to cook and to offer the monks. That time, in the heaven, the monarch, the Sakka king, his throne, it became hot. Then he searched, what is the reason why my throne it is getting hot? So then when he searched and he saw that Mahadugata, he is hard working to offer a monk. Then the Sakka, he also searched further whom he will get to offer. Then he also saw none other than the Buddha himself. So he was also like very happy by seeing that. So he wanted to help the Mahadugata. Then he came to the human world and disguised himself as a human form. Then he went to the Dugata's house, Mahadugata's house, then asked, oh, is anyone is there in the house? Can I get any work? I want to do any work. Then the Mahadugata, he saw the Sakka king, but he disguised as a human. So he didn't recognize as Sakka. Then he asked him, what kind of work you can do? Then he said, that Sakka king, he said, I can do any kind of work. Whatever work you give me, I can do. I can cook delicious food, so I can do everything. Then the Mahadugata, he said, okay, very nice. If you can cook very well, we are also today cooking something to offer alms meal to a monk. We are doing this to gain meritorious, to gain merits, but we don't have any kind of money to offer you. Then that Sakka, he said, I also don't want any kind of money. I also want merit. So you can appoint me as cooker, so I can cook. Then Sakka, he went to the kitchen and he also brought some items to cook. And then he started to cook. After that, Mahadugata, he went to get a monk. And when he arrived there, he saw that every monk has distributed to every family. There is no any monk left for him. So he went to the that organizer, that Upasaka, and asked him, sir, where is a monk for me? Then only the organizer, he recognized, oh, I did a very big mistake. I didn't write the name in his in the list. So he forgot to allot a monk for him. Then he said, oh, sorry, Upasaka, I forgot to keep a monk for you. Then Mahadugata said, how can you do this with me? You are the one who yesterday motivated me. But now you are telling there is no monk left for me. How can you do that? And the Mahadugata, he felt that a dagger which is like put inside his tummy. So he was so sad and crying loudly. Then the pupil, they also saw that Upasaka is crying. So he asked, what happened, Mahadugata? Then he said, yesterday this Upasaka, he motivated me to give alms meal to a monk, but now he's telling that there is no monk left for me. After hearing this, the other Upasakas, they're also very sad, upset. Then he told that organizer, how can you do that with this Upasaka? He hard work to give alms meal to a monk, but you are telling now there is no monk left for him. How can you do that? Then that organizer, he was also felt very ashamed because of that. Then he told to Mahadugata, okay, sorry, but what can I do now? There is no also monk left for me to offer. There's no monk for me too. So there's then the organizer, he said, but in the list there is no Buddha. So the Buddha, he is still now in his heart. So you go to him and invite him in your house for alms meal. As you know, the Buddha, he is a compassionate one. So if you go and tell him everything, so absolutely he will accept your invitation. So after hearing this, the Upasaka, he runs towards the Buddha's heart. And also that organizer, he told him that now the kings, ministers, rich men, they are all waiting in front of the Buddha's kuti to invite him for their house. So you go quickly and invite the Buddha. So he rushed towards the Buddha. And then when he arrived there, the kings, they say, the king's minister, they saw the Mahadugata arriving. So they asked him, why you're coming here? There is no place for you. You go. Then the Mahadugata, he ignored everything. And he went towards the Buddha's heart. And then he bowed down, and he said to Buddha what has happened with him. And then the Buddha, he opened his door and he handed over his bowl to the Mahadugata. And when the Buddha handed over his bowl to the Buddha, every king's ministers, the princess, rich men, they were shocked by seeing this. And they gauged each other what happened. Now, the Buddha, he himself gave his bowl to that Mahadugata. So nobody dared to snatch the Buddha's bowl from the Upasaka. So the king's minister, what they said, oh Mahadugata, you give this bowl to us. I will give you as much as money you want. You see your situation, you are poor. So how can you give food to Buddha? You are not able. So you need money. You take money and you give me that bowl. Then Mahadugata, what he said, no, I don't need any money. I don't want any money. So you keep your money. I just only want to offer alms meal to Buddha. After that, he went after taking alms bowl or Buddha's alms bowl. Then the king also thought, okay, he is not accepting my money. Let me see what kind of food he is going to offer the Buddha. I know he is a poor. So what kind of item he can afford to offer the Buddha? So when he is going to offer the Buddha, if there is no good item, I will ask the bowl and I will take the Buddha to my house and I will feed the Buddha. So the king also went along them. Then when they arrived in Mahadugata's house, and the Mahadugata house, because he was poor, so he built his house so like small house. And you know the Buddha, he never bend his head when he goes anywhere. But the door, it was so small. So what happened when the Buddha was trying to enter the inside? The earth, it shake. Then the heart, it automatically become huge. So the Buddha, he went inside without bending his head. And the Buddha said, on the seat which was prepared by the Saka king. And then the Saka, he brought the foods. Then the king, he was also watching what kind of item there will be. Then when the Saka, he disclosed the items, the king, it was shocked by seeing the foods. It was so fragrance, the smell, the fragrance, the coming from the food. And there were so many items which was prepared by the Saka. So the king was shocked by seeing how can a poor man can afford such kind of delicious food. Then he was also felt guilty, and then he paid respect to the Buddha and he told what he thought. And then he, after paying respect to the Buddha, he left. Then after having the alms meal, the Buddha gave an inspiring discourse to everyone. Then after that, the Buddha departed. Then the Saka also, he came outside from the house. And then that Upasakas, then Mahadugara, he also washed the Buddha's bowl and he also went along with the Buddha. Then when the Saka went, what happened? A miraculous thing happened. From the sky, the 7 color of jewel, it fell down inside the house and it filled all the vessel. And not only vessel, it filled all the rooms. And there were no rooms. So the Mahadugata's wives and their daughter, they have to come out from the house because there were no place to stay, because everywhere is filled with jewels, with 7 colors jewel. And then when Mahadugata came again to the house, he saw that his wife and daughter, they are outside of the house. So he asked her, what happened? Why you are outside of the house? Then she said, see inside. And when he saw the inside, he was also shocked by seeing everything is filled with jewels. Then Mahadugata, because he was also honest, so he didn't take that everything by himself. He reported it to the king that in my house there are filled with jewels. Then the king also sent many cards, and then he will take all the jewels, and then he appointed Mahadugata as his royal treasurer. And thus he became the rich of that Varanasi city, and also a treasurer of king. After that, he again invited the Lord Buddha and his 20,000 disciples, and he fed them for 7 days. Then, after becoming old, he passed away. Because of he did Kusala Kamma, he reborn in a heavenly world, and he lived there for many years. And then after that, in our Gautama's Buddha's dispensation, he born in a family, and then he became novice, just only 7 years old, and he became enlightenment only in 8th day, just observing these things. Like when one day when he saw the digger of the water leading the water to the field, and the arrow maker straightening the arrow, and the carpenter shaping the wood, just by seeing this, he contemplated it, and because of his past actions, what have done, the meritorious actions, the paramis, which leads him to attain the enlightenment in that very life. So I hope Upasakas and Upasakas, you should also do think about these 4 types of givers, which types of giver you want to be, and according to that, you should also do meditative actions for your future existence. So with this, I would like to conclude. Bhavatu Sabbha Mangalam Rakhantu Sabba Devata Sabba Buddha Nubhavena sabba dhammanubhavena sabba sanghanubhavena sadha sote bhavantu te. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.